Good morning, students. I'm Francis again. Okay, so today we are here to study class 7 physics part 4. We discussed in the past 3 lectures that what is heat, what is the SI unit of heat, what are the various ways by which we can measure heat. We studied temperature, we studied different scales of temperature, and today I think this diagram is quite familiar to you, and you have seen it many a times in your life. So, what's its name? I know that you would be saying that, sir, it is called thermometer. Yes, it is thermometer. So, since we studied temperature, we need to know how do we measure temperature. Since we are going to study temperature, we need to see what are the various types of it. We are going to see the thermometer that is of Celsius scale. Celsius scale. The two types of thermometer are, first one is clinical. What? Clinical. Clinical thermometer. And the second one is laboratory thermometer. Now you might be thinking that why two types, temperature can be measured by any of the thermometers. Yes, but there is a difference between the two. There is a difference between the two. So first we will, the one that is drawn here, the diagram that is drawn here is of the clinical thermometer. So before we start clinical thermometer, let's see what is a thermometer. So thermometer, it is a device. Thermometer is a device used to measure temperature. Okay. Thermometer is a device used to measure temperature. So by the name clinical thermometers, you understand that this clinical thermometer might be used in clinic, and you know who is there in a clinic. So in a clinic we have doctors, and you know that doctors measure the temperature of who? That is human beings, no? We go to the doctor, and you might have seen that the doctors have a thermometer, they put it in your mouth, or they try, or they put it in your armpits. Yes, so to see the temperature of your body. Yes, so clinical thermometer, it is used by doctors. Clinical thermometer is used by doctors. Used by doctors. Okay, it is used by doctors to see the body temperature, of patients, whose body temperature is not normal, they got fever, or they might be suffering from some type of disease. So this clinical thermometer is used by them in order to see whether their body temperature is normal or not. Okay. What about laboratory thermometer? Laboratory thermometer, it is used in labs, it is used in labs, not in clinics by the doctors in order to see the temperature of the patients. I will tell you why it is not. I will tell you why laboratory thermometer is not used in clinics. Okay. Let's see this diagram. You see that the graduation, no, this naming, this marking of this thermometer starts from 35, no, this 35 degree centigrade to 42 degree centigrade. So the thing that in our body, our body has this specialty that our body does not function below 35 and above 42. In case if that happens, a person is not going to survive, so that is impractical. So the range of the temperature of this clinical thermometer is 35 to 42 degree centigrade. Okay, now one more thing that you see, that in this thermometer, we have this bend. We have a bend. We say it as kink also, K-I-N-K, kink. What is this bend or a kink in this thermometer? When this this portion is called bulb. I did not mention. This is called bulb, and it is filled. It is filled with mercury. Which is also called thermometric liquid. We talked about it earlier also, thermometric liquid, no? We talked about it earlier. I will explain to you after I have done this, okay? So, you understand this mercury is filled in this bulb, okay? When we put this bulb in the armpits, like this, no? You might have seen, no? Like this. We put, the doctors put the bulb, let us consider this as the bulb of the thermometer. This is put in our armpits. So what happens is that this bulb, mercury inside the bulb gets heated up, and you know that when anything gets heated, it starts to expand. So this mercury starts expanding. So this is the capillary. This blue line, it is a thin capillary. This is a very thin capillary. This thin capillary, this mercury which is inside it, when it expands, it passes through this capillary. How much it gets heated up, the more it expands and the further it moves. How much it gets heated up, that much it expands, and the further it moves in this thin capillary. And we can see that through our eyes, and we get our reading. Let us say that I heated this mercury up to a temperature of 38 degrees C. So what will happen? This mercury will reach up to this state, to this condition, up to this point. Understood? It will reach up to here, and we can see through our eyes that my body temperature is 38 degree centigrade. Okay. So what is the provision of this bend in here? The provision is this bend is here, so that after this is removed, you see that this bulb, it is not in contact with my body. It comes in contact with the atmosphere, and maybe atmosphere may be cooler or atmosphere may be hotter. In that case, if it is cooler, the reading will go down, the mercury will contract and move back. Or else, if the atmosphere is hotter, what will happen? It will move front. Understood? Did you understand? So, if my reading is 38, and when this thermometer comes in the contact with the atmosphere, what is going to happen? This bulb will give the reading of the atmosphere, the air around it. If it gets cooler, if the atmosphere is cooler, the mercury will move back. Or if the atmosphere is hotter, what will happen? This mercury will move away towards the higher temperature. So will this give us the correct reading? No, it does not give us the correct reading. So why is this bend here? Bend is like a breaker. You know, when you go to the road, what happens? There is a breaker. It reduces the speed of the vehicle. In the same way, here, this acts as a breaker and it reduces the speed of the back flow or the front flow. You know, it reduces the speed of the mercury to move front or move back suddenly. So in this case, you know, we can observe the reading, you know, by the time we see it like this, we have done, and after that when we are to see, we get almost 99% we see the correct reading. So that is the speciality of kink. What does it do? It prevents the back or front flow of mercury suddenly. Means it does not allow it to move forth or back suddenly. That is the function of this kink. Okay, so that is about our clinical thermometer. So this is our diagram. You know, this is the bulb, this is the kink, and this is the fine thin capillary, and these are the markings on the surface of what? On the surface of the mercury. And each reading, we get properly. How do we see? We actually align this reading with the mercury. We align this reading along with the mercury. In the next video, I will show you that thermometer also. Then, or you might have seen it by yourself also. Okay. So now we go to the laboratory thermometer. Okay. Laboratory thermometer. It is same as this. You know, I will do a bit of modification here. Okay. I think we have done it. So I am going to put some modifications in the same diagram. Okay, so this is our diagram for the laboratory thermometer. So you can see what is the difference. In the previous diagram we had a kink here, the kink is missing. Okay. Second thing, what is the starting point? The starting point is 0 degrees centigrade, and what is the end point? End point is 100 degrees centigrade. Okay, so these are the basic differences. These are the basic differences between the laboratory thermometer and the clinical thermometer. And the other difference, as I told you before also, that laboratory thermometer is used in laboratories while doing experiment when we need to measure the temperature of any device. Okay. So now we move on to our very important topic, that is our thermometric liquid. This portion. What is the thermometric liquid? A thermometric liquid is a liquid, which is used in thermometers, very easy. Yes, but can all the liquid be used in a thermometer? What if I say water? Water is very cheap and available everywhere. Yes, so can we use water? No. Or can we use alcohol? No. Can we use oil? No. There are very few substances, which can be used as a thermometric liquid. So now let us see some of the characteristics of what? Thermometric liquid. What? Thermometric liquid. So, you know, we need to measure the temperature of any body, let us say our, and you know, there are different type of substance, you know, which get heated very fast and some get heated very slowly. Some get heated very fast and some get heated slowly. So what if I use this plastic, you know, I use this plastic. What plastic? This plastic as a thermometer. This plastic as a thermometer. Then what will happen? You know, this gets heated very slowly. I put it here and the doctor has to wait for 3 days in order to get a reading in this. What the use? In 3 days maybe I will die. Or if you are there and this plastic is the thermometer for you, it may be a case that you know the temperature reading you will get after maybe 4 days. What will happen to you? Will you get any medicine without a correct reading? No. Whether you have fever or not, what will happen? You know, your disease will become serious, severe, and ultimately it is going to be fatal. So we need to get the exact reading and the correct reading instantly. So how do we get that? When the thermometer, in the thermometer we have what? A good conducting liquid. What do we have? A good conducting liquid. So this thermometric liquid should be what? Number 1, good conductor. What? Good conductor. Understood? Yes, it is a good conductor. Okay, very nice. But in your various science books, you know, you can hear another term for it, and that is low specific heat. Means low specific means, you know, in a way, you know, which gets heated up very fast. The one which gets heated up very fast is a good conductor. Either of the two, low specific heat or good conductor. Very simple for you to remember is good conductor. Low specific heat, this specific heat is a topic, you know, which you will come in future classes. But for you to understand, good conductor. Okay, that is the first criteria. Second thing, that it should show significant. What? Significant. It should show significant thermal expansion. It should show significant thermal expansion. Means, you know, all the substances, whichever thing it is, when you heat it, it is going to expand. Okay, any substance it may be. Okay, but thing is that there are majority of the substances, you know, which expand, you can't observe it. You know why? Because they expand a very little, so little that your eyes or your sense organs cannot observe that they are expanded in actual. Understood? So that is the thing. So the thermometric liquid which has to be used, that liquid should have such a quality that it should show significant thermal expansion, so that we can get the reading properly. If it does not expand significantly, how will this liquid in here will move in this capillary? If it does not expand properly, means in a significant way. If it expanded in very little, no, it won't move. It may up to, means, you know, it will remain up to here only at this position. It may be that it may remain at this place only, or if our body temperature is here, 37 degrees centigrade here, if it does not expand properly, maybe the thermometric liquid may reach here only. How are we going to get this reading? We won't be getting the correct reading. Are you getting that? So significant thermal expansion of the liquid is very, very important, very, very necessary. Otherwise, we won't be able to observe the temperature properly. Third thing, this thermal expansion, this thermal expansion, thermal expansion should be uniform to a wide range of temperature. Understood? You see what is said. The thermal expansion that we are seeing, that thermal expansion should be uniform. Uniform means what? For instance, for first 10 degrees centigrade, it expanded for 2 centimeters. So for the next 10 degrees centigrade also, it should expand for 2 centimeters only, not 3. And for the next 10 also, it should expand for 2 centimeters. In the same way, this should be the uniformity. For every same increase in temperature, the expansion should be uniform. It should not vary. Otherwise, what is going to happen? Again, we are not going to get the exact reading. We won't be able to make thermometers in that way. That will be a very complex thing. Okay, that is the third point. Now, very important, fourth point, it should be non-toxic. It should be non-toxic. Yes, very nice. Everybody, toxic means poisonous. By chance, in case we get in contact with it, it should not be toxic. Fourth means fifth point. Fifth point is that it should not be very costly. Otherwise, only for measuring temperature, we need to pay a lots and lot to doctors. Only just for measuring our body temperature, a simple fever will cost us, maybe lakhs of rupees, just because this thermometric liquid is very, very costly. So these are the very few, majorly these first 3 are the very important things. Yes, but still you should know all these also. So that was about thermometric liquid. Acha, one more thing I was missing it. This is also very important, that this thermometric liquid should be easily visible. Why can't we use water as a thermometric liquid? Because water is a transparent substance. We won't know whether it is moving up to what range of temperature. If if it comes here also up to 40, up to 60 also, we won't be able to see it. Why? Because it is a transparent liquid. So this thermometric liquid should also be easily visible. That is also a very important characteristics. Okay. So these were some very important things. In your book, there is some very important points given, the similarities between clinical thermometer and laboratory thermometer. And one more thing is, the differences between a clinical thermometer and laboratory thermometer. Though I have explained to you both of the things, first you try to write all these things, similarities and differences by yourself, then you go through your book and also make a note of all these, what I have taught you today. And I hope you are doing hard work at home. Though there is lockdown, you are making good use of time with your studies. So all the best for you again. See you in the next video.